Welcome to our cable TV show, Operation Freedom. Our sponsors are Freedom Museum, Veterans of the Foreign War, VFW, Post 7589, and Vietnam Veterans of America, VVA Chapter 617. I'm your host, Bradshaw. The program is dedicated to the American veteran. Today we're pleased to have with us a Vietnam veteran, war veteran, and the leader of one of the sponsors of our show, Sam, we call him Sam all the time, Sam Neely. Sam lives in Manassas City with his wife Valerie. They have 2 adult children, Michael, a Navy veteran of the Kosovo War and a VFW member, and Angela, a member of the VFW Post 7589 Ladies Auxiliary. Sam, welcome to the program. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Now, when I was doing this, my wife's reviewing. She said, "What was this for?" And I explained. I said, "It's a greeting we all gave to it." Just explain why I said "welcome home." How did we start the program?
Welcome home, because we did not get welcomed home when we came back from Vietnam. Well, we got welcomed, but it always wasn't pleasant. Sometimes people get spit on, yelled at, called baby killers, things like that, and you almost were not proud to wear a uniform at that time. But I'm glad those times are over.
Yes. And I think the veterans are getting treated much better now, I believe.
That's right.
Yes. Sam, tell us your early life. Now, we've been exchanging conversation here, getting ready for this, and you were raised on a farm in North Carolina. We have a relationship because I was raised on a farm here in Virginia. Tell us a little bit about that life.
Well, my first 9 years of my life, I lived on a farm. My father was what they called a sharecropper, and there you're born poor and get poor. The only way you get out of that is either die or sneak out, I bet. But unfortunately, my mother passed away when I was 8, and my father had 3 children to raise, and he realized a man with a 3rd grade education and working as a sharecropper on a tobacco farm didn't have much to offer, so he left me with my grandmother and aunt, me and my brother and sister. I was the oldest, and my brother's 5 years younger, so he's the baby, and he went to the big town of Norfolk and took employment working for a nursery, flowers all, which that was like 1954. In 1958, he was running the nursery, and he brought us. He remarried because I know he loved my stepmother, but he needed someone to raise those 3 brats, So he brought us up to Norfolk with him, lived with him, and my first time in a big city, and I was wondering why these people didn't. What was all this noise? And back where I was at, you didn't even have grass in the yard because of snakes and stuff. And first time I did, I walked up to places. Those people are dumb. They're going to have all kinds of snakes in this grass, So, and we lived in an apartment, and my father moved around quite a bit. We moved out every year to keep ahead of the bill collectors, I guess, or something like that. But we finally moved out to a nursery, which the company he worked for had 5 large nurseries, and he moved us out to a 40-acre nursery in the middle of the town in Norfolk there. And I got to grow up a little bit country and a little bit city, as they say. And went on, graduated high school, one of the first ones in my family to ever graduate high school.
Wow.
And I went to work for a living because we couldn't afford college. You didn't have your community colleges and stuff then. And I said, well, I'm just going to have to work for a living. Went out and took this job about $3 an hour and so. And, of course, that was 1964 when I graduated. I was still working. And as you know, Brad, in 1965, the world fell apart. March 8, 1965, the first Marines landed in Red Beach.
Right.
And in Vietnam, little did I know that was 1965, little did I know that 3 years later I'd be on that same beach. Yeah. I didn't know what the Marine Corps was hardly, except I joined the military because I knew I was going to be drafted. So I said, I'm going to make some choices. I joined the Marine Corps, and they ended up putting me in the infantry. I apologize, not infantry. In the computer field, and we didn't know what computers were. And so we thought a computer was a $64,000 question with the cards coming out on disorder.
So you got a great education now.
I got a great education. The Marine Corps taught me a lot, and as I was telling you earlier, I think the Marine Corps saved my life because it made me more responsible and learning and get ahead. I wasn't going to be and nothing wrong with it, but a common laborer every day of my life. And of course, being in the Marine Corps at the time, you always taught to be gung-ho, and you always wanting to, well, they got to go to Vietnam, got to get the stripes under there. And, well, it took me a while to get there, but I finally got there.
You got there in 68?
I got in Vietnam in 68.
68, okay.
68, 69. And, boy, did my world change then. I saw, I said, why did I want to come here? And I was mostly a rear echelon type person. I was in the First Force Logistics Command, Force Service Regiment.
Okay.
Basically, what we did is we supplied the entire Northern I Corps in Vietnam of the Marines, personnel and supplies, and all your casualty reports and all that stuff. And so most of my time was spent around Red Beach, in Da Nang, outside Da Nang, about 8 miles out of Da Nang. But every once in a while, I had to go out somewhere. And my most vivid experience was going to Phu Bai, which is up near Hue City, the ancient capital. And come to find out, they had people might understand this, that you didn't know who the enemy was.
Right.
You might have a papa-san or mama-san working there daytime with you, clean your floor and your coffee. At night, they put on the black pajamas, as they say, and they become a combat person.
Yeah.
And we were working in a data processing unit up there, the emergency for 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, I not only spent Christmas away from home, I spent Christmas away from my home place. I was up in Phu Bai for Christmas. And this little man cleaning the data processing building there, come to find out he was an VVA colonel in disguise. And right after we left there, a rocket hit dead center of that place. And I was glad to get back to Da Nang where it was sort of safe.
Right.
But I had a couple of close calls, but not enough to make myself a combat Marine.
Right.
I earned my stripes, but I don't know how the Marines and soldiers did out there that had to do it every day and hump through the mud and all that stuff, because I was scared enough.
But you took the training. You could have been out there because everybody gets the same
We were
training.
all out there. We would go out every once in a while and guard an ammunition area or something, which I did, and we got attacked one night, and I literally had an M14 shot in half in my hands. We still had the M14s in, and before they had the M16s.
Right.
And that taught me that, hey, they shoot back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that and a few rocket attacks and stuff, but I came close enough to know what it was and appreciate not having to do it.
Right.
And when I got home in 1969, I said, thank you, Lord. And then I went on. I got stationed at Headquarters Marine Corps eventually, because I came back to Quantico to teach Marines data process, and then they sent me to Headquarters Marine Corps, where I spent 5 years.
Quantico?
No, Headquarters Marine Corps, Washington, D.C.
Oh, you're talking
Arlington.
Henderson
Hall, right next to the Pentagon. And that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because a couple years after, about a year after getting there, I met the lady who's going to be my wife. And we got married in 1972 and been married ever since. I got 2 wonderful children. My son, Michael, you mentioned, was a Navy veteran. Made me very proud. He went to Kosovo, and they put like 20-some rockets into Yugoslavia off his ship. Turned around, went down the Persian Gulf, and took out a missile site in Iraq. So he says he's a hero. But he's proud. He's back up here, and just recently, I've got my son and my daughter, and they both made me very proud, very happy. They're very well-raised children. As a matter of fact, my daughter said to me one time, said, "Daddy, what did you do right?" Because we're so well-behaved. And about 6 months ago, I had the most pleasant experience of my life. I became a grandfather for the first time.
Gee, and you're so young.
Oh, I'm only 60 years old, but that's it. But, I have 3 loves. My family, obviously, God, and the VFW.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit active in it, I'd say.
Yes.
Years,
That's right. We'll talk about it. In fact, you got the Marine symbol right on the
right on my hat right here.
VFW and the Marine symbol.
And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud.
Good. And you've done a good job. So you got out after, and because all that training, you were able to use that skill, and that's the skill you used in the Department of Energy.
Right. I decided to get out of the Marine Corps because I had a family to raise and wasn't making too much, and so I used it. I sat unemployed for a couple months after I got out because of other things, but I took a couple of jobs and ended up working for the government, and by the time I left the government, I retired in 1997 with 32 years service between the Marine Corps and Federal Service. I was 51 years old. And I said, but I worked with computers all my life, and it was very enjoyable, but I was a little tired of it.
Yeah.
And, of course, this revolution took over where you got all these and internet and all now, and I was from the old mainframe days where cards and everything, and I retired. I knew I had to work for a living, and I just happened to stumble into a job over here in over on Sudley Road. I work and for the UPS store. That's not a plug intentionally, but
okay.
I get to meet a lot of people. I think I'm an outgoing person, and I enjoy talking to people.
You are. I'll testify.
Talking to people, doing a good job for what they do, and seeing what I can do, and that's it.
Good. Good. So you did good service in the Marine Corps. That's great, and I think it's you know, you and I are both farm boys, and to go from that, which you didn't even imagine back then, didn't even exist.
Computers didn't exist.
Didn't exist. That's right. That's great. Well, let's go ahead and talk about. You've done great work with the veterans group. But we'll talk about your first love, post 75-89. Now you've started out as a commander at different times. You've 8 years, which is phenomenal. And when you first came in, talk about the setup when you first came in.
When I first entered that VFW post, it's a proud VFW post, and it was established in 1946 on D-Day 46. It was named after a local boy that died, Francis Cannon. Most of you know him as his sister is Mrs. Harry Parrish, Mattie Parrish, and they named it the post after him. And the post did real well for a number of years, but it was starting to age out, and the people that really established it were getting worn out and tired, and the post was about to die away. And
how many members you have?
Well, I think we had 50-some members when
I remember that number.
We joined. I joined, and I said, "What am I getting into here?" I was there a month, and they elected me to the office, some little community office, and it went on for a while. And finally, they asked me. I was moving up the chain, and they said, "Would I consider accepting the position of quartermaster?" If anybody FW, quartermaster is the person that handles the money, handles the building, the supplies, the personnel. They do everything. Yeah. Basically, and I said, "Okay." And I went to the first guy had to step down because of his health. He had been quartermaster like 7 years or so, and I went to him to get the records, and he handed me 3 green trash bags full of records, and I had to sort them out. And the post was just dying away because of no real recruitment or anything, and I got a little busy and working. I didn't do it all by myself, but got with a couple of commanders, and we started refurbishing the building. And our first goal was to get the building back in shape, and then we started growing in membership, and I talked some guy named Bradshaw into joining, and
yeah, you recruited me. That's great. That's when we first met.
Yeah, and I talked you into joining me in the VFW and see what we could do, and little did I know the trouble you were going to cause me. I had a pleasure in 1995, I think it was, 1996, of getting my first white hat of all state, which is a privilege. It's hard work. The post does the work, and the commander and the quartermaster get the credit. And I made it and decided to step down as post commander, and I turned it over to our illustrious leader, Bradshaw, and I gave him a challenge. I said, "Brad, next June in Richmond, I want to see you get a white hat." You got 3 of them in a row.
3 of them in a row. I mean, I remember that very specifically, and that was a nice goal to go at because,
But you started a trend, and I don't know if to be proud of or tired, but I have 5 of those now as commander and 3 as quartermaster. And I'm very proud of that. But our post today, membership is roughly, if everything was paid up right now, it would be 259 members or whatever. And we got 242 now.
Good. I mean, you're almost there.
We're getting there, and we work hard. I got some hard workers helping me.
And recognize that all state there's only 25 each year, and the best of the there's 200, and the best 25 get that recognition. So you got to work for it, and it's quite extensive competition in the different.
And it's going to be even harder this year. They cut it down to 20 posts.
20.
Only 20.
Okay, they're making it harder.
Not only. Let me go a little bit how you get this.
Sure.
Obviously, you have to do things. You have a reporting system of community, Americanism, safety, youth, etc. You've got to do programs to get this and turn these reports in. You've also got to be 100% membership to start out. And then you start getting bonus points for extra people. Well, then they start ranking people. And you, Brad, in I forget what year it was, you not only was the best, you were the number 1 in the state the year you got it. And I haven't topped that yet.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's right. They rank you 1 through 25. I do remember that. But you've always been near the top, and you just almost there number one. It was just a couple things happened. You'd have been number one, but you were all state.
I was proud the year that you were number one. I was number one district commander because
there
you
go.
helped build me up. I got a trophy sitting at home. The most important thing I said we mentioned, we do veteran stuff. Okay,
right.
We look out for the veterans that are ill, sick, need help. Mm-hmm. But we don't limit it to that. We have a philosophy or a slogan: you honor the dead by aiding the living. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we try to help those that are living while we're honoring the ones that are deceased and went on before us.
Right.
But we don't just do that with the veterans. We do it with the youth. Mm-hmm. We've got a number of programs for certain grade limits. There's an essay contest. There's a speaking contest. Mm-hmm. It teaches where to, I hate to say children, young people compete locally, district, state, and nationally. And the ultimate winner get like a $20,000 scholarship. Mm-hmm. And we sponsor that. I'm proud to say our post pays out between the two of them at least $2,000 or $3,000 a year, and
money well spent.
Money that children can use for their education. We go out, for instance, on December 16th, I believe it is. We'll be going over to Birmingham Green. Right. We're going to be taking Christmas presents to the veterans that are bedridden, etc., and can't get out. We out here a couple times a year. We go over to the local cemetery across from the courthouse and place flags on the graves of those that went before us.
That's every veteran we can identify. Occasionally, someone had told a veteran, but somebody tell us we'll flag it every year once we know.
But fine. We always joke about how they move around in that cemetery because we'll go out there. We have a plat, and I swear they'll move across the road or something. You've been there, Brad.
Yeah, maybe it's my imagination. I'm saying, we all say the same thing, and there's even a Medal of Honor recipient there.
A Civil War Medal of Honor, Northern soldier.
That's all. He's there, just like everybody else.
Well, the reason I want to point that out, there is a Confederate cemetery in the back of this cemetery, but there is a gentleman that won the Medal of Honor and survived the war. Yep. He decided to call Manassas his home after the Civil War, and this is buried in the cemetery. Mm-hmm. That's what got us out there doing that. We went out to honor him one day, and thanks to past Commander Frank Steele.
That's interesting. I wondered how. I thought that's good. You might didn't know that.
Yeah, we got out there, he and I, and we decided to go out. And as a matter of fact, his children helped him identify all the veterans. Of course, it's years, and we furnished a few for in there too over the years. But that's where we started honoring the veterans, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and we go out. We have a memorial service. If anybody was interested in joining this year, memorial service on Veterans Day, November 11th is Saturday at 8:30 in the morning on Main Street, out right beside the Manassas Museum, is the Manassas Veterans Memorial, which I'm proud to say this post was one of the participants in having that memorial come about. At 8:30, we're going to have a memorial service honoring all the veterans. On Memorial Day, you honor those that are deceased. Okay. On Veterans Day, you honor all that have served. Okay. And we're going to honor them by having a small ceremony. And then half an hour later, we'll meet at the cemetery and put the flags and poppies on the graves.
And that location is just down from the museum, in case anybody doesn't know. Tell them exact location.
What, for the memorial?
Yeah, the
memorial is right beside on Main Street itself, at the intersection of Main and Prince William, on Main Street heading towards Osborne High School. Right. You'll see it. There's the three flags flying there. That's the memorial. Okay. And after we go do the flags, the veterans get together and go have a breakfast, and we've earned it. And
you have a good time. And if it's a cold day, you have hot coffee when you get there.
And the following day, we'll be out at the Walmart on Liberia handing out poppies. Right. From like 9 to 1. So come out, we'll give you a poppy. You don't have to give us anything. Right. We don't sell poppies. We give them to you. Good. But we ask if you like, you can make a donation to us. And people ask me how much they cost. I say anything from nothing to $1 million. So give me whatever you want.
Whatever you want to give.
We also use that for recruiting. Right. And we've got members every time we've been out doing this, and we try to show that we're in the community. We're community people.
You do a lot of, we do a lot of stuff. In case somebody doesn't want to wait there or just miss a vacation or something, is there a number they call back and get a contact?
Okay, you can first of all, you can get on the website if you want to get on the computer. It's www.vfwpost7589.org.
Okay.
And it tells you all about the post and all the things and all the requirements. Or you can call 703-361-5554 and leave a message, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Say that number since we don't have a
703-361-5554. Or if you can't find me, stop by the UPS store. I'll be there at all times. I'll sign you up.
Good.
We need veterans. I'm trying to get younger veterans in now because we're losing them, the older veterans.
Right.
We've had in our post, since I've been in it, we lost him a couple of years ago. We had a World War I veteran. He was 105. And we've got Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans. And right now we currently have a survivor to the Bataan Death March. We have a Pearl Harbor survivor. We have a young man, Merle, that was a prisoner of war in Europe. And we got a lot of people there. Just come on out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's about all I can say for VFW right now, I guess.
Right. Okay. Well, let me ask a couple other things. Describe the leadership, because you got a cadre of about 20 that represent the leadership, and it just kind of give a brush
of our particular post.
Our particular post.
Well, I'm the commander, which a lot of people equate to president of an organization. We have a treasurer, which is a quartermaster. I have a junior and senior vice commander, and you have all these other. You have a chaplain, and you have trustees that watch your money.
Right.
Make sure it's audited properly and all that. You have a service officer, which is supposed to help the veteran. Any veteran in need, you don't have to be a member of the post. You be a veteran in need. You just make an appearance, and we'll do our darndest to help you.
Yeah.
Put you in touch with the right people. We've done a number. And we have other little offices filled, but it's not a one-man organization. One person organization, because VFW does it. Consists of women also.
Yes. Tell about Ladies Auxiliary.
Well, first of all, we had the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, are men and women. You had to be a combat veteran to be eligible for the VFW. We also have an auxiliary called the Ladies Auxiliary, and the reason it's called the Ladies Auxiliary is you can have two different auxiliaries. You have the ladies and you have the men's. And Ladies Auxiliary eligibility is complicated. It's like related to wife, mother, daughter, sister of a veteran.
Right.
We have one. Our auxiliary had one years ago. It died away. It was established again in, I think, 98 or something.
Right.
1998. And since 1998, our Ladies Auxiliary, though small, have won probably more awards in the state than any other auxiliary.
Very successful, no doubt about it.
They are always calling their names. They do a lot of work.
Right.
And I'm proud to say I have 3 members in that auxiliary: my wife, my daughter, and my daughter-in-law.
Right. And I've got 2, my wife and my daughter.
My granddaughter would be there, but she's not old enough yet.
We signed her up for a little while.
And they do hard work. They support us.
Yes.
And they do a lot for veterans and things. So,
especially some would need some help, which both of us do, and because sometimes these folks that need help aren't members of either the auxiliary or the VFW, but we're willing to help and reach out.
Our purpose is to help mankind, basically. Obviously, our priority is going to be a veteran.
Right.
But we'll help where we can. We're not a wealthy organization, but we help. Money's not everything. Sometimes somebody just needs to talk to somebody.
Yes.
And we're there for that.
Good. Talk about and our source of money we should talk about, and we've been very successful at, and it's talk about bingo and how it's set up. It's a good one.
Brad came to me a number of years ago. I was commander, and he said, "We're going to have a bingo game." I said, "Brad, are you crazy?" Because anybody, I don't know. Most people know to have a successful bingo, you have to be able to seat 100 people or more, and at any session. Well, our hall will not hold 100 people. Matter of fact, I think our most successful bingo ever was 87 people.
87, yeah, about 90, yeah.
And so we have a daytime bingo, and it's on like Wednesday mornings, and the actual bingo games run from 9:15 to about 12:30. But you have to get there a little early and have some coffee and all, and camaraderie. And that bingo has helped us not only refurbish our post to make it livable, and a lot goes back into the community.
Right.
Scholarships for the children, donations to proper charities such as the police department, Operation Dare with the police department, Operation Uplink, which is I'm very proud of. Operation Uplink. It's a system the VFW has had for several years now, whereas we donate gather money and phone cards are bought for the troops overseas and the ones in the hospitals, wounded veterans. And Brad, you didn't know this, but we got last night. We received a card from a veteran in Iraq that said if it wasn't for the VFW, he would not have been able to talk to his family.
Wow.
So
that's really good. And that didn't exist, folks, during the Vietnam War, because I see my tours, I had 2 tours, and to make a call to my wife, I had to go I was at U-Bahn, had to go in town. It took me a couple of hours. I only did it for some reason we had to talk, but we wrote letters, so it's a fabulous thing. I'm very, very proud of what we're doing and everything. That's really neat.
I've heard many guys say, like an old Navy chief was on the boat, and he said he walked around with his phone cards in his hand, and when he runs up against a young sailor that's really depressed and sad and finds out why, he said, well, why don't you go call home? And it gives them these phone cards. And,
it's a great program.
They're a blessing, and we've given out millions of them.
Yeah.
And that's one of our most successful programs.
Yes.
And I have a friend, it's not in our post, he's in another post down the road here, one of my district members.
Right.
He goes over to Walter Reed almost every weekend and takes the wounded veterans out and stuff, and he's always taking the phone cards and stuff like that to them.
And they appreciate it.
Oh, do they appreciate it.
That's
You talk to some of these wounded veterans, you don't know how you feel.
Yes.
I was there, but that's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. Now, tremendous work, 75, 89. We could talk a little bit more, but with time, as we're down about 2 minutes, I want to talk about your leadership. You're a district commander. Talk about what that entails.
I'm the district commander. I'm District 8, which the state is divided into districts. Originally, it was sort of like the election districts, like the 8th district was the 8th district. And now we're still the 8th district. We don't have too many posts in it right now, but 8th district runs from Purcellville and Leesburg area to Fredericksburg to Standardsville, out almost Charlottesville.
Wow.
Years ago, it used to run from Leesburg to Charlottesville to Colonial Beach. They had to break it up a little bit.
Okay.
What is, I am the district commander. I coordinate all the posts within the district, try to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, helping in their membership and all that. Currently, right now, we're in the #1 district in the state.
Good.
And
you still work full-time.
I still work full-time.
Load up
and
time
run the post.
The 2 of them. Yeah.
I'm the district commander, which I have a lot of help there, and a lot of that help's coming from my post. I'm also the state historian for the VFW. And I just stepped down last year. I was president of the Commanders Club for the state of Virginia.
Gee.
So I'm a little bit busy.
You're a little bit busy.
And I still got to take the trash out tomorrow night.
I know, we do. I'll throw in you also in leadership role in the American Legion Post 10. So we got about a minute, 20 seconds. Just talk about the 10. You've done work in that.
I was up in the upper echelon of the Post 10, but it came to the time I had to make a decision which master I wanted to serve more, to VFW or the Legion. I maintained my Legion. I have all kinds of respect for it. I was vice commander and led them to #1 in membership 3 years in a row over there.
Wow.
One year I was made Legionnaire of the Year and VFW Member of the Year the same year. And
that's a lot of work.
I'm not trying to pat myself on the shoulder. Yeah. It's just that shows me I had respect to my comrades.
Right. It's good.
And folks, comrades is a
good word, comrades.
We had it before the communists had it.
Right, there you go. I want to Sam Neely, I want to thank you today for being with us. It's been fascinating because you show your work on active duty and with the veterans, and you've done tremendous work. I want to thank you, and America thanks you for the work you've done when you were on active duty and service now. And I want to thank the audience for being with us today. This will be filmed. This will be broadcast in November every Saturday night. And I want to tell you good night and thanks wherever you are. This is Brad Bradshaw